Hey everyone, thanks for joining this yoga practice to celebrate the cold full moon in the sign of Gemini. The cold moon is the last full moon before the Winter Solstice, or Yule, the longest night of the year. These longer nights may inspire feelings of grounding, relaxing, and stillness. The moon is in the sign of Gemini, and so it deepens the desire for introspection, reflection, or study. The polarisation of the Gemini sign, represented by the twins, can create an inner conflict, especially when paired with the social obligations and expectations that often arise during the festive period. With the sun in Sagittarius, a fire sign, if we aren't careful, it feels as though we are being pulled in two directions or spread too thin. Today's practice will be all about finding grounding and balance to neutralise the conflicting energies within our bodies to create an inner sense of equilibrium. We'll be finding balance through postures as well as creating an inner stillness within the mind. If you wanted to bring along any crystals, moonstone or hematite would be suitable for this practice. Some essential oils could include lavender, clary sage or frankincense. When you're ready, let's begin. Hi everybody, thank you all for joining for this cold full moon practice in the sign of Gemini. So we're going to start as always in a seated position, just relaxing, getting comfortable, taking a few moments to set our intention. So as with any full moon, it can be a time where we have amplified energy, not always with a clarity of direction on how to spend it. And often this energy feels like it's being pulled in many different directions at this time of year. We have many obligations, social expectations to adhere to during this time, but also we are doing soul searching, and at the deepest point we desire spiritual connection. And with the darker, longer nights, we often feel this tendency to draw inwards and find a little bit of ourselves. And so whether you tip more on the scale of the end of extroverted or introverted, you enjoy the outgoing social scene of the festive time, or you prefer to hide and isolate yourself perhaps a little bit, it doesn't matter. As long as we're finding conscious connection to however we choose to land along this scale, instead of being pulled in many directions and finding that dual personality often associated with Gemini, we find balance between the sun and the moon energy. And our affirmation for today's practice is as simple as that. I find balance. However that looks for you, whether you're leaning more towards the sun, leaning towards the moon, introversion, extroversion, we find balance. And so anytime you find your mind drifting away today, repeat to yourself the affirmation, I find balance. And we're going to start with balancing breath work, so Nadi Shodhana. So you're going to take your right index finger and middle finger towards the root of your thumb. If that feels a bit resistant, you can bring them to the third eye center in the very center of your forehead. You're going to use your ring finger to close off one nostril, and you're going to use your thumb to close off the other. And you can use your left hand to support your elbow as you take this. So we're just going to do a few rounds. So just closing off your eyes. Breathe as fully as you can through both nostrils. Feel a full expansive breath and exhale fully. Then closing off the right nostril, breathing in through the left. 2, 3, 4. Close the left as you exhale through the right. 2, 3, 4. Inhale right. 2, 3, 4. Exhale left. 2, 3, 4. Inhale left. 2, 3, 4. Exhale right. 2, 3, 4. Inhale right. 2, 3, 4. Exhale left. 2, 3, 4. Inhale left. 2, 3, 4. Exhale right. 2, 3, 4. Inhale right. 2, 3, 4. Exhale left. 2, 3, 4. Then just release your hands to your knees, palms up for more uplifting, palms down for more grounding. And I just want you to notice how it feels to free breathe through both nostrils. And if you're feeling a little bit more balanced through your energy, even just through this connection to the breath. And just knowing that even if you do nothing else today, you've taken a little bit of time to balance out some of the turbulent energy around this cold full moon. We're going to make our way into a side body stretch, just again to even out the balance through both sides of the body. So bring your right hand to the outside of the right hip. You can reach your left arm up as you inhale. And then as we exhale, side stretch over to the right. Doesn't have to be a deep stretch, but if you'd like, you can take it down onto the forearm. Inhale through center. Switch the arms and then exhale over to the left. Inhale back through center. You can reach up through both arms. And then as you exhale, bring your hands forward, making your way into a tabletop position. Take a nice deep breath in through cow pose, lifting the crown of the head up, chest forward. And as you exhale, round the spine into cat. So even here, this is a balancing exercise of the energy. Inhale, you may feel uplifted, your heart opens. And as you exhale, you feel the sense of grounding, the sense of rooting as we connect to the earth. And as we flow through today's practice, we notice our desires, our tendencies, whether they are prone to the desire for stillness, the desire to almost hibernate in our own space, or whether we feel called to celebrate, to meet with friends, family, or maybe we're somewhere in between. We notice the influence of the full moon and how that affects our energy, whether you're influenced through high energy or depletion. One more breath in. Exhale fully. Inhale back to a neutral position and then bring your wrists just forward of your shoulders. Generous bend to your knees as you lift your hips up and back into a downward facing dog. And you can just pedal out those heels. And then you're going to bring your feet wide, so hips width or even wider, and just walk your hands back into a ragdoll position. And again, we're going to move into that side body stretch. It's a balance, a blend of finding the movements of the body. So you want your right heel underneath your right hip. And then from there, you can bring your left foot behind your right with a bend through your right knee. Just come onto the knife edge of that foot. You can stay as you are, or you can walk your hands over towards the right side. This variation of ragdoll. Any low back pain, just keep your spine neutral. And then switch. So bring your left heel underneath your left sit bone, bring your right foot behind, coming onto the knife edge of that foot. Again, stay with that, or walk your hands over to the left. Walk yourself back through center, back to a ragdoll position. And then from there, just walk yourself back into your downward facing dog. Take another deep breath in and exhale fully. Now as we inhale, lift the right leg up and back. As we exhale, bend the right knee, step the right foot in between your hands, coming into a low lunge, releasing that left knee down onto the floor. From here, inhale, you can reach your arms up. Or today, interlace fingers, squeeze the shoulder blades together as you sink the hips low. We still want to squeeze here through the left glute. Little active energy through the arms to open up your chest. This can be the embracing of the sun energy, that strong Sagittarius energy that's still with us. But at the same time, we're feeling the sense of sinking through the hips, the grounding energy, and noticing the polarizations of the pleasure, the discomfort in this pose. As we inhale, we reach both arms up. As we exhale now, bring your hands to the inside of the right foot, heel toe your right foot over to the right edge of your yoga mat. You can stay there or roll onto the knife edge of the right foot, opening your right hip to the side into lizard pose. Now, if it feels good, you can even use your left hand under your left shoulder and use your right hand to press that thigh open, or even bend your left knee, reach your right hand for the outside of your left foot, and find that quadricep stretch into the hips. Again, the heart's open, the chest is open, so we're still feeling that energetic quality, but we're grounding. We're feeling the hips sinking low, embracing the slightly more nurturing qualities of the winter in the cold full moon. Then release your left leg back down. Bring your right hand back to center. Now just turn your right toes so the toes are just off the mat, right heel still on the mat, but now your knee is tracked over your ankle. Pick up your left knee and then step your left foot so it's in symmetry with the right, sinking the hips low into a garland pose. You can always drop your sit bones onto a block if they don't quite reach towards the floor. If you feel like there's strain in your ankles, you can always roll up your mat and support your ankles. Otherwise, see if you can embrace a little quality of stillness here, shoulders relax, finding nice even distribution of weight between both feet. And not just the inner edges of the feet, but also the outside edges of the feet. Again, that sun-moon balance of activation, but grounding at the same time. Then from here, bring your hands to the floor, lift your hips up and heel toe your feet, so either feet hips width or toes touching, depending on what feels more balanced for you. Keep your hips low. As you exhale, sweep your arms back. As you inhale into chair pose, reach your arms, palms shoulder width or palms touching. As we exhale, sweep the arms back, lift the heels up over the balls of the feet into awkward chair, finding balance. Inhale back to chair pose. Exhale one more time, awkward chair. Find balance. Inhale to chair pose. And then as we exhale, bring the hands to the floor. If you really want to take a little crow pose, you can. Otherwise, just bring the weight into the hands. Step back, either straight to down dog, or as you exhale, lower knees, chest, chin, or halfway down through chaturanga. Inhale into baby cobra or upward facing dog. As we exhale, soften through the neck. Bring yourself back into downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Exhale fully. Now inhale, lift your left leg up and back as you exhale. Step your left foot to the outside of your left hand, toes off the mat, heel on the mat. And, left foot to the center of your yoga mat. Sorry, nearly skipped the lunge there. And this time inhale, sweep your arms up. As you exhale now, interlace fingers behind the back. Try to do it so the opposite thumb is on top, the non-intuitive grip. Keep sinking your hips low, but keep opening your chest. Squeeze your right glute. So we're not feeling pressure through the low back here. If that's the case, just focus on keeping your pelvis neutral. You can always just bring your hands to heart center, making sure your low back is nice and long. Otherwise, your gaze may lift slightly. Inhale to reach both arms up. And then as we exhale, now plant your hands to the inside of the left foot, left toes just off the mat, heel on the mat into lizard pose. And then you can stay with this as you did on the other side, or right wrist under right shoulder, roll onto the knife edge of the left foot, use your left hand to press the thigh open. Or bend that right knee, reach your left hand around for the outside of the foot. Inhale. Exhale, release your right foot back down. Bring your palms back through center, left knee over your left ankle. Tuck your right toes under into garland pose. Once again, sinking the hips low. Now, if you want to stay in grounding in your garland pose for a bit longer, please feel free. If you'd like to do that chair to awkward chair series again, please feel free. Otherwise, we have an option for a balance here, crow pose. So bring your feet either to hips width or big toes to touch if you've been doing crow pose for a while. Now the first option is to just find the balance of the weight. So shift the weight into the hands, shift the weight back into the feet. If you've just been starting your crow, maybe you bring one knee to one elbow, switch the toes. If you've been doing this practice for a long time, toes touching, palm shoulder width, knees to armpit. Keep your gaze forward as you bring your heels up towards your sit bones, holding, breathing for 3, 2, 1. Step or jump back. Maybe straight into chaturanga this time. Inhale into your upward facing. Exhale into your downward facing. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Then from here, look to the space between your hands. Just make your way through to a seat. So you can drop to the knees or right knee to right wrist, left knee to left wrist. Cross your shins and sit through. And we're going to come into an inversion. So come to lay down on your back. This is really good for calming the nervous system, switching your perspective, and is a really lovely intuitive practice for the full moon. However, you don't have to bring yourself into full shoulder stand today. You can always bring your legs up a wall or place a block under your sacrum, or you can even just bring your knees towards your chest, okay? This is a really good way of calming the nervous system without putting the neck, the shoulders at risk. If you want to take shoulder stand, we're going to come from shoulder stand into plow pose and then into fish pose. So if you're not sure, make sure you come out to watch me. Don't move your head from side to side here. Arms alongside your body, palms facing down. As you inhale, shoot your legs up towards the ceiling. Bring your hands to your low back. Keep pressing your back of your head to the earth to bring your chin away from your collarbone. Gaze towards the toes or the belly button. I find balance. The affirmation for today's practice. Repeating that to yourself mentally, or just finding the physical balance, the feeling of balance within your body. Stay here, or for plow pose, hinge your hips, bring your toes behind your head. Toes may or may not reach the floor. If they do reach the floor, you can interlace fingers behind your back, pressing your pinky fingers into the earth. If they don't reach the floor, keep your hands to your sacrum. If they do touch the floor, maybe point your toes away, coming onto the toenails. Heels of the feet touching. Gaze steady. Notice how it feels to breathe. Bring your knees to your forehead, arms alongside the yoga mat, palms shoulder width or thumbs touching. Use your legs as a counterweight to slowly unroll. As your legs lower down, lift through your chest, coming up onto your forearms, bring your sternum up, and then as you exhale, back of the head down. As you exhale, chin towards your collarbone. Then release your thumbs from underneath you, come to lay down on your back, releasing your arms alongside your body. If you'd like, you can now bend your knees and just windscreen wiper the legs from side to side, just making sure that there's no pressure through your low back. But also even here, finding balance through both sides of the body. And once you've found enough movement, you can extend your legs long, bring your arms alongside the body, palms facing up, feet nice and wide. Let go of the control of your breathing and just find your natural, intuitive rhythms. And just notice how you're feeling physically. Noticing any pain, any discomfort, any resistance, but also how you're feeling energetically. Whether there's this sense of heaviness, groundedness, even going to the further end of the spectrum into lethargy, or whether you're full of motivation, anticipation, excitement, or maybe again to the furthest end of that spectrum into anxiety, or maybe you're somewhere in between. This time of year is incredibly polarizing. For the introverts, it can be an incredibly overwhelming time where we feel like we are being pulled by so many different people in so many different places. And for extroverts, it can feel like this beautiful opportunity to spend time with loved ones, but not always that the weather and the time permits. So it can feel like this long list of expectations and obligations which we want to reach. Either way, this can be a conflicting time for us to feel. And so that dualistic nature of Gemini can create this split within our mind where we don't quite align with our values, with how we want to feel. And so regardless if you have the full time to spend your festive time exactly as you'd like, the most important thing is that we become aware of the energy we're using. Even if it only allocates you perhaps 10 minutes to spend with yourself in meditation each day, we become aware of how we're spending our resources instead of getting spread too thin. I really hope that you managed to find balance during this cold full moon and through the festive period. I hope that however you choose to spend your energy, you spend it exactly as you desire and you manage to get everything you wish from the festive period. Thank you all so much for joining me. As always, as you go forward, wishing you peace in your thoughts, your words, and your heart. Namaste.